Hey bestie, so today I'm going to cook some shepherd's pie. Actually, I believe it's called cottage pie if you're using ground beef, and we're going to be using ground beef. We're going to start with our potatoes. I wash and scrub my potatoes before I peel them, and then after I peel them, I wash them again, and actually after I cut them to cubes, then I'm going to wash them again. So I'm doing the second wash right now before I cut them, the smaller pieces. Also, I always tuck a trash bag into a drawer in my kitchen when I'm doing a lot of different things in my kitchen so that it's just easy cleanup. This helps me keep the kitchen clean while I'm cooking. Just a little life hack there. Before I cut my potatoes, I'm actually going to start with my onion, mushrooms, getting those sliced so I can saute them in some butter. So let's do that first. So I'm just going to cut the onion into small pieces. In a pan on medium heat, I am going to add some butter. Then I'm going to add the onion into that pan so it can be sauteed with the mushrooms. While that's sauteing, I'm going to go ahead and work on cubing my potatoes. They can be in pretty large chunks. You don't want to make the chunks too small because you're going to be mashing these potatoes. And potatoes will actually disintegrate in the water if you put the pieces too small. So make sure you got good chunks so you can get some good thick mashed potatoes. Once we've done that and we've washed our potatoes again, we're going to fill this pan with water. Some people boil their water first. I don't. It's just not a necessary step when potatoes are involved. I also season my potatoes while they're boiling, so I put salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Even though we're going to drain the water, it just helps it give a little bit of flavor. We do not want our potatoes to be bland, even though we're going to season them when we're done as well. I have a bag of frozen peas and carrots. I'll put this in a dish. I'm going to add some butter, some salt, and some pepper, and we're going to add water and boil that as well. Just checking on my mushrooms and onions. They are sauteing well. I've got my potatoes on and on high heat so they can boil. Same with my peas and carrots. I do not boil the water first. You can, but I don't. So I added the water and now I'm going to put it on high heat so it can boil. And then I'll lower the heat once it boils and put a lid on it. So those mushrooms and everything is cooking well. Once I get my mushrooms and onions sauteed, then that will free up that burner. I can set those to the side, which I've done now, and we are going to work on our meat. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to fry half a pound of bacon. I want my meat to cook in bacon grease because it's just going to make my meat more flavorful. I tend to believe that shepherd's pie or Scottish pie is a little on the bland side. This really helps cooking it in bacon grease. So once my bacon is cooked, I'm going to set it aside. We're going to use that later. Checking on my potatoes. We are going to brown that hamburger meat. I'm going to mix it all up. Make sure that that bacon grease is coating this ground beef because I want all that flavor from the bacon grease to get all over my ground beef. I'm going to make sure that I stir it really well. And don't worry, it's going to look greasy, but we're going to drain the grease at the end. So don't worry about that. It's just for flavor. I am going to add in some salt, some garlic, some minced garlic to this while it's cooking, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, some pepper, and some garlic powder. I'm going to re-season this again after I drain it, but I'm going to just do all of that while it's cooking because we want it to be really seasoned. It is browning nicely. Okay, now let's pause for a minute because we are going to work on our potatoes. Looks almost done, and then I can drain the grease, and then we are going to put it back in the pan once we drain the grease. Once we drain the grease, we'll re-add Worcestershire sauce, garlic powder, salt and pepper. That's what I add. You can add your favorites. Seasonings. Okay, so let's work on our mashed potatoes. So we've taken them out, drained them from the boiling water. We're going to put them in this pan that I've added cream, butter, salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic powder. And I'm going to mash them first with a hand masher just to get it a little thinner consistency. And then I'm going to take some salt and add a little bit more salt because I tasted them and they need more salt. Add some more garlic powder and more pepper. Taste your food while you're cooking so you know if you need to add more seasoning. And after you add the seasoning, taste it again. Okay, now I'm using a hand mixer and I'm going to mix this up so we can get nice and smooth and fluffy mashed potatoes. Should be about this consistency when we are finished, nice and smooth. Okay, so in this pan, I have already drained my ground beef. We're going to add 1 can of beef broth. We're going to add some Worcestershire sauce. We're going to add some salt and some pepper and some garlic powder. And then I don't show it in the video, but we are going to slightly sprinkle the top with flour because we want this sauce to thicken up. Go overboard with the flour, just sprinkle it in. Once the sauce is thickened up, we will add our cooked peas and carrots, and we're going to mix that in with the meat. If you have kids and they don't like vegetables, you can actually layer this separately, more like a lasagna. Kids don't like mushrooms, so I don't mix the mushrooms in with the mixture. So we're going to get our baking pan. We're going to spread out that meat mixture at the bottom. And once I have smoothed that over evenly, then I am going to add my mushroom and onion mixture on half of this. You could do the same with the peas and carrots if you'd have people that don't want to eat peas and carrots. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to smooth the mashed potatoes over this, just evenly over the entire dish. This smells so good. I am so excited for this. And then when I am finished smoothing the mashed potatoes over, we're going to get that bacon we made earlier. We are going to crumble it up and we are going to put bacon bits all over the top. Everything tastes better with a little bit of bacon. So let's crumble those bacon bits over the top. There we go. And then we are going to put on some shredded cheese, just a little bit of shredded cheese over the top of this. And this is how she is going to look before we put her in the oven. You're going to put her on 350 for about 30 minutes. Also maybe broil the last 5 minutes to get a little extra char at the top. It's up to you, but this is the finished product. 10 out of 10, so good.